All right, guys, we're back. Hopefully, we should be back. Let me see. Yeah, we should be back. Hopefully that works. Let me check. Okay. Yep. We're back. Um. So yeah, cook with your significant other. I recommend it. And actually, I'm gonna go take a quick pee, and then we'll finally get into K-drama stuff. We'll do it right at the jump on this part too, so it'll be easy to find. So I'll be back in. Well, but yeah, we'll. I'll be back in about 3 minutes. And then we'll get into some K-drama like actual stuff. Cause I made a nice little here. Let me show you a little teaser. We got this top 5 Korean dramas for beginners. So we're gonna go through that and have a little fun with it. I'm really excited because there's some on this list that are pretty fun. So if you haven't gotten into K-dramas yet, this is the perfect time. This list is. I want to reiterate, this is not the best of the best for me. Like, this is not like the top. Like, this is not my favorite K-drama. But like, these are the ones that, like, if you're just starting out, you gotta dipping your toes in the Korean drama world. These are the ones I recommend. These are the ones that you good chance you're gonna love or at least like. And if anything, they'll make you laugh. Like, that's what a good K-drama does. Is like, it makes your heart swell with love, but then also it makes you laugh. Actually, you know what? Forget the potty break. We're gonna jump into it because I'm in that mode right now. So, without further ado, it's funny. Like, I love how this is split in 2 parts. Like, the first half is just like the first 2 hours of my stream is just yapping, like about Gilmore Girls. So it was like, now this will be clean. This will be nice. It's like we're jumping straight into it and have fun. So, my top 5 K-dramas for beginners. Starting at number 1, this is the best overall drama for beginners. This is Crash Landing on You. This is the best overall K-drama for beginners because it's got everything you want. It's got a strong romance. It's got really good acting. The side characters are hilarious. It's got a really strong story. This one. So essentially, what I'm doing today is like what you would Google. Right? I've Googled this so many times. Like, what K-drama should I start? And it's always just like an article I have to read, and it's like, I ain't trying to read. You know, look at these tattoos. Does it look like I read? But so I'm doing that for you. I did all the legwork. I watched all of these. So now you kind of get to see, if you're in the market for a K-drama, I'm giving you the synopsis. So essentially, Crash Landing on You is about a woman. She's like a mogul. She comes from a wealthy family, but her family doesn't really like her because she's like illegitimate. Like, her dad had an affair, and now, like, she's part of the family when she was a kid. Anyways, she's from South Korea. She's from Seoul. She's got like her own big old company. She's wealthy. She's rich. She's just about to inherit her parents' like company, so she's gonna be even more rich. But like, somehow she's testing out this product, this paragliding project, and like she ends up getting blown away in a storm, and she ends up in North Korea, right? Like, it's wild, it's crazy, it's like high budget, it's like she essentially passes out in a storm and wakes up and she's like hanging from a tree in North Korea, right? And if you don't know anything about like Korea in general, like the South and the North do not get along. Like, South Korea and North Korea, no, like they're not friends. like not even frenemies. Like they're closer to frenemies, but like they don't mess with each other. Like there have been threats over the course of years of like bombing one another, right? So it's like not a healthy relationship. It's like one of the toxic relationships you get into. And then you're like, we're not really right for each other, but like we still gotta live together, right? It's like that. So like she gets blown away to the north, you know, and that's like a dangerous spot to be. Like she's essentially, if you cross to the north as a southerner, like I don't know if for real they would kill you, but like it's not good, and vice versa. Um, so anyways, she wakes up to this soldier like pointing a gun at her, and like it's our main guy. So our main girl gets found in North Korea by a North Korean soldier, and it's the story of how a she kind of navigates this new like, well, now I'm in like someplace I never thought I would be and never wanted to be, like how she navigates getting home. And it's through a lot of it's through her own sheer will, but a lot of it is also like through the help of like him, our main guy, and then through like his comrades, like his buddies. Like it's so endearing to like the way they talk about like his friends and like their friendship. It's just so cool to see this girl like from South Korea come to North Korea and just like suddenly have a gang of like North Korean friends. Like it's so cool. And there's like a group of women in the town who like have this strong bond, and like our main girl kind of gets to see the ins and outs of that, which is cool and it's funny. Um, and it's funny because I'm actually rewatching it right now before my trip to Korea. So like it's like fresh in my mind right now, fresh eyes, and it's just as funny. It's just as beautiful. Um, the main characters are beautiful. Like we already talked about, like last week, Sun Yi Jin, the main actress, is my top celebrity crush. Like she just makes my heart swoon. She's beautiful. She's adorable. She's such a great actress. I go on and on. The main guy, Hyun Bin, um, is a really good actor. I think he was like known for like more action roles, but like in this, he's just so good as a romantic lead. He's kind of like the stoic one. He's kind of like that you know, he's prickly on the outside, but like on the inside, he's just a ball of goo. He's just soft. He like does all these things for her without her really realizing how much he cares about her. Um, he's so thoughtful to her, and he's like gets protective of her, and like he just like it's really cute. And there's so many moments in it where you're just like, only in a K drama would this happen, but it's so romantic and it's so it makes you just like just like high school crush kind of situation where you're just like, oh, that's so cute, that's so adorable. Um, so yeah, Crash Landing on You. This one is so easy to do if you haven't stepped into the world of K dramas yet. Like, it's pretty good paced where it's like you're not gonna get bored too easily. It's not like crazy wild. It's not like too many things are happening. They do a good job of like, for the most part, you're just with these two in North Korea, and like you're with them just riding it out and figuring out how she gets away. They do all these plot like attempts to like get her off into the South. So like I'd say probably like 80% of the time, you're just hanging out with our two main characters, and then the other 20% you're back with her family in Seoul, like dealing with the aftermath of her disappearance, which is also pretty interesting. It's cool to see like who cares about her and who doesn't while she's gone. Um, but this one, I don't want to spoil anything. I will say these two got married in real life after shooting this, so that should tell you, like, that should tell you how effective their on-screen chemistry was. That they got married in real life. Um, but yeah. So best overall, if you need one K drama, if there's any K drama I would ever recommend, like to anybody who's just not about it yet, check out Crash Landing on You. You won't regret it. If you, this one will be like the one that's like, okay, if you like some of the similar themes and like the tropes and like, minimal kissing, but like maximum romance, you will like Crash Landing on You. Like, side note, that's a big thing of what I love about K-dramas is like they don't throw like the sexualized version of things into your face. They don't throw like just the aggressive like sex scene or like there's no real big like there's passion, but like passion is so subtle in like K-dramas that it's so beautiful. It's like something about like an understated expression of love is so pretty to me and so like so nice. Like I don't know if I could do it in real life. Like I'm very like overt with my like showing that I love you, but something about seeing it in TV is nice. Like you go 6 episodes in and like there's still no kiss, but like the romance is palpable. Like there's a scene in Crash Landing on You where he like smuggles in like some coffee beans and he spends all his time like she got real drunk the night before and she got real mad at him because he didn't come home that night, but that's another, you'll find out if you watch it. But essentially that morning he knows she has a hangover, so he roasts her some coffee on like a Kamal, and he like grinds up the beans and he pours it and like the smell wakes her up, and like he just, there's something so beautiful and intimate. He just hands her a freshly brewed cup of coffee, and in that moment, in that like intimacy, there's so much love and like care that like the depth of it is insane. And I can't explain it unless you see it, but like I feel like a lot of like the Western dramas don't either miss that, like they don't go for subtlety, or they do but it's about different things, right? They're like subtle in like other ways, whereas like you're watching a K-drama and this guy is just like, you're seeing scenes of him like prepping this coffee and you're just like, he cares about her so much, but he never says it. He never says like, I love you, here's a cup of coffee. He's just like, have this. And it's like the most delicious cup of coffee she's ever had because he put all this care and work and time into it, and like, and it's like he's not a coffee drinker, but he got these beans specifically for her, and it's tough to get coffee in North Korea, like, but he did all that just so she would be comforted. What? Come on. But there's a countless moments like that in this show, but then countless moments of that in K-dramas in general. Like that's the shtick. Like that's the whole thing about K-dramas is like, at least the romantic ones, is like people doing small little gestures for people that like show like how much they care, and then we get to see how much care they put into that. Whereas like the main character doesn't see that, but like we get to see the backstory, and it's like, come on, are you serious right now? So yeah, Crash Landing on You, highly recommend. 16 episodes. It's on Netflix right now, at least Netflix America. But you can probably find it wherever you're at. It's one of the biggest hit K-dramas of like the recent generation. I think it was like top 3 on like viewership when it came out, or like probably before Queen of Tears. It was probably 1 or 2, I think. So it's very popular. It is not a hard one to get into. Super likable. The one thing I'll say about this one is it's so funny. Like it's funny in a way that I haven't seen in a lot of K-dramas. Like I don't know if it's like catering a lot to Western humor. I don't know the dynamics of it, but like I will say this one had me laughing a lot. Where there's just like, especially so he's a captain in the North Korean army. He's got like subordinates under him, but like they're essentially all friends, and like the way his friends interact in this story is so awesome. It's so cool. Like, it's so much fun. So if you want a K drama to just laugh, to just swoon, it's not very sad. So you'll have that. There's just moments where it's just so like just heartache in a good way. Watch Crash Landing on You. You won't regret it. It's really good. Okay. So that one's best overall. Now we're hitting up moods. So this one is coziest mood. All right. So much like Gilmore Girls, I'm all about moods, right? So coziest mood in a K-drama is Something in the Rain. Now, just looking at the title and looking at the cover, you'll see why. It's just like, it's so warm, it's inviting, it just looks cozy. There's a lot of rainy scenes in it. Like, this one is the one you watch when you just want your brain to turn off and you just want to be like surrounded by clouds. You know, this one, much like Gilmore Girls, although you can watch this one at any time of the year. This one, go ahead, wait till it gets dark out, light some candles, get some big old fluffy blankets around you, you know, get some tea, and just put this on. And it's like, it's actually got the same main girl from our first one, from Crash Landing on You, Sun Yi Jin, but it's also got one of my favorite actors of all time in it as well, and he plays a good guy who has a crush, essentially. So this one is about our main girl, who is like, I want to say in her mid-30s. She is like, she works at a coffee shop, or like works for a coffee company, and she's like I don't know, a brand ambassador, brand manager, or something. I don't know, maybe a branch manager. I don't know exactly. I've seen this like 2 or 3 times entirely, and like I still don't even remember. But it doesn't really matter. Like, that's just secondary to like the story. She is really good friends with this guy's sister, and that's their relationship. She is the essentially best friend of his older sister. This guy is maybe mid-20s, and he's like a tech video game creator, or like some techie, something like that. But the whole drama in this one is the age difference between the two, and the fact that like society, or like their friends, pretty much view her as like an older sister to him, but like they don't view each other that way. Like, there comes a point, like, I think she thinks of him as like a little, little annoying kind of, sister's brother. But there comes a moment where, I don't want to spoil anything, but that changes. And it changes. But the big thing about this one is it is just very, very cozy. It's very soft. The only real like chaosy part of this is her mom. Her mom in this is just kind of aggressive. And so yeah, she's really the only loud portion of this show entire. Like, everything else is just rainy scenes and like coffee brewing, and like, I've talked about this before, but like, Korean dramas do a good job of like setting up the bedroom space where it's like you want to be there. You want to be in that cozy bedroom, in that cozy bed, just chilling. Like, not even with our characters involved at all. You just want to be in that room, like, just living life. Listening to your iPod, because it's 2004. Oh yeah, Crash Landing on You, I think, came out in 2019, maybe 2020. Could be wrong, but it's recent. And Something in the Rain, I think, was like 2018 or 2019, so relatively recent. But yeah, Something in the Rain is just the coziest K drama you'll probably find. It's actually my favorite K drama of all time. Um, but if you need just something cozy to put on, this one's the one to do it. Like, it's very approachable. It's very soft. You know, if all you know about K dramas is like Squid Game, this is the opposite of that. This is the opposite of Squid Game, 100%. This is like the Gilmore Girls of K dramas. It's so sweet. It's so soft. You know, there's something, like they said, those intimate moments, like those subtle intimate moments. Like, there'll be times where, like, he'll walk her home, but, like, she doesn't really want to go home just yet, so she'll stand in, like, the lobby, just, like, and they'll, like, kind of be cute with their ways of saying goodbye. It's like the whole, like, I don't want to hang up, you hang up. And it's, like, kind of cool to see, like, a 30-year-old woman, like, you know, being so embarrassed. Or, like, just, like, cheesy and cute, but in a good way. So yeah, this one there's not too much drama that goes on. There's just like the only drama is like their age difference, right? So it's like between the families there's flare ups and things like that, but like on the whole, it's not gonna tear your heart out. It's not gonna like shock you. That's not what this is going for. That's why it's coziest mood. It's like this one is the one you put on with the candles and the the soft lighting, and it's just, it puts you in a good mood. If you are tired of having nightmares and you just need something to watch to like cleanse your brain before you go to sleep so you can have some good dreams, watch Something in the Rain. Like, it's exactly that. There's so many. If you like rain, like I love the rain. I love rainy days. I love cozy moods. This one is exactly that. So I highly recommend it. Like I said, it's my favorite one of all time. But for this list, it gets on for coziest mood. So if you are just getting into K-dramas, or you just haven't seen this one and you need something just warm and inviting and just funny and cute, there's a scene where like near the beginning where she gets drunk and she puts a traffic cone on her head. And from that moment, that's when I loved her. Like, that might be the moment where I was like, oh, I have a crush on this actress. Because to see a 35-year-old woman wearing a traffic cone on her head and being goofy, that's my heart. That's my heart right there. So yeah, if you need a cozy K-drama, Something in the Rain that's the one to do it. That's perfect. All right, so moving on to number 3. Number 3, we're going with spookiest K-drama. Spookiest K-drama is Hotel Del Luna. Now, let me preface this by saying that this is not the spookiest like of all time. This is just like the spookiest and approachable, like for beginning K-drama. So it's like, it's not maximum spook. It's like medium level spook. It's just kind of like, creepy and vibey, but it's not gonna like scare you to death. And also, there's very little. I'm not very much of like a gore fan or like death. Like Squid Game was too much death for me, like way too much. I don't like when like all the characters around just like could die at any moment. I don't really like that. I've seen Sons of Anarchy. I don't need a repeat. Like, I loved it, but like I don't, that's not what I want. But Hotel Del Luna is perfect for Halloween time, like fall. Like, as soon as it starts getting a little chilly, it's like the same thing as like Gilmore Girls. Gilmore Girls watch during the daytime when fall. Hotel Del Luna, cut that on at night, and you won't regret it. The acting is top notch. The story is awesome. The main girl, IU, you might recognize her from last time. She was number 2 on my crush list. She's so talented. She's such a great actress. If you like style or like women's fashion, she wears some of the most expensive, like cool outfits. Because it's IU. She's like an international superstar. So like, that's like the perfect platform for like, Gucci and Prada and all that. So that's a lot of fun. The plot in this one, This one's probably like the most involved plot, so it's like it might. It's tough to find like a spooky one that isn't have like a harebrained, crazy, like wild premise that like is approachable for like a beginner. Hotel de Luna is essentially about this woman who she in her past life did some terrible stuff, and so she gets essentially bonded with this hotel. And I know that it makes a lot more sense when you watch it progress, but essentially she gets forced to become the owner of an establishment throughout centuries. So like she can, one of the stipulations is she can't die. She can't die, and she has to be a hotel owner for this establishment forever. Um, so essentially, this hotel is like a hotel for dead people. Like it's where people go to stay before they move on to their afterlife. It's really interesting. It's really cool. It's like, so there's like ghosts and there's like zombie-esque people and like spirits, and it's like there's that creepy aspect to it where like there's a few jump scares. I will warn you. There are a few like, whoa, and like mangled, like disheveled, like ghost faces, and you're like, ooh, that's kind of creepy actually. Like there's a reason it's on for spookiest. It's like there's some creepy moments. So essentially, our main character is in charge of like the upkeep of this hotel that like helps the dead into their afterlife, you know. And the real plot twist comes because she's been doing this for centuries. She's been doing this for like, thousands of years or something like that. The plot twist comes when our main guy comes in, and he's got like a big part to do with her like trajectory. Like he's like essentially someone from her past life who has come back. He's unaware of this, but like he's come back and like, things change is all I can say. I don't want to spoil anything, but things change, and suddenly her time on Earth isn't so permanent. So it's like kind of navigating that, and there's also like a romance aspect where like, that kind of gets tangled up in it, because it's also like, yo, if you're the reason she's gonna leave, but you're falling for her, like, whoa. So this one is carried by the special effects are really good in this one. Like they make you really like the ghosts and the specters and all that. Like it's really cool to see. It's just well done. It's high quality. They are very good. Like it's the writing is really good. The acting is really good. It's just very well done. It feels like a big project, like a big production. Like you can tell it costs a lot of money in a good way. And there's a lot of flashback scenes. Like the only thing with this one may be tough is like there are a lot of flashback scenes for her in her past. And some of those you're just like, okay, I don't really move to the present. I don't care. But for the most part, it's really well done. And she's clever and she's stubborn and she's bold. And our main guy is kind of like understanding, but also like it's funny because she actually in the beginning she wants him to come work with us or work for the hotel, right? She doesn't know him. He can see ghosts, and that's like the big draw. It's like humans can't see him, right? Most humans can't see ghosts or specters or like entities, but he can, and she figures that out. And so she's like, okay, come work with me. You could be an asset. And at first he's like not about it because he's like, I don't want to be seeing these things. And I especially don't want to go to a building where that's all I will see. So it's cool. Like the beginning aspect is like her trying to get him on board. And then we follow both of them. Like we follow her and her like struggle in her past and like what she actually did and, what, is she redeemable? We kind of follow that arc and kind of see that. And with him, we just follow him, like him getting used to working at a hotel for dead people. So both aspects are really cool. And like most K-dramas, the side characters are just as interesting as the main characters. Like that's something I love about K-dramas. Like this guy over here, he's like quirky and interesting, and it's sad too, like his backstory. Like all these guys are in that hotel for a reason, and I don't want to spoil it, but his story especially is so cute, and he's just a good actor. He's got an interesting face. He's got like a very long, broad face, and I wouldn't say he's like classically handsome. I wouldn't even say he's handsome. I would just say he's just interesting face, but he's such a good actor that like you know you forget that he's unique looking. You're just like, oh, he's cute. Um, but he's so sad. Like this one actually has some sad moments. Like it's some sad moments and some spooky moments. So, um, I will warn you in advance that if you check this one out, there are some real spooky moments and real sad, like heartfelt, like real sad moments. But this one gets on the list because it fits that, like, if you like kind of creepy things, if you kind of like, not necessarily serial killer vibes, but like more Halloween vibes, like Hocus Pocus vibes. It's like very, very Hocus Pocus vibes. Very much that. More Halloween Town vibes too. It's like, if that's your speed, check out Hotel de Luna. I think this one came out in 2018, 2019. But production quality is top notch. Yeah, I recommend that one. Definitely for Halloween time. Like, middle of October, start this one. Another 16 episodes. You won't regret it. It's awesome. All right. So that brings us to number 4. This one is if you're looking for something funny and unique. Okay. So this one was tough because I needed something that wasn't like that classic K-drama trope. Like there's so many that just are pretty much carbon copies of each other. It's just whether or not you like the actor or actresses involved. But for the most part, a lot of K-dramas, to their credit, they know it works. But like, it's essentially a rich dude or a rich guy or rich girl falling in love with like someone who's not of that world. Someone who's not rich, someone who's like a librarian or a coffee shop barista. Like, so many times it'll happen, that coffee shop barista will trip and fall and almost get hit by a taxi, but like be saved by like a rich Korean CEO. But like, you don't know he's a Korean CEO, and you find out later, and you're like, whoa. It's like that happens in so many different iterations. Just like someone coming from wealth falling in love with someone who doesn't. But this one breaks that completely. This one has nothing to do with that essentially at all, and I love it. This one is pretty recent. I want to say 2022. Like, this one came out not too long ago, and it's got 2 of my favorite actors in it. This guy over here, the main guy, he is in a lot of things, but he's in Welcome to Samdori, which was in my top of 2024. He's also in Backstreet Rookie. He is just funny. He's charming. He's just got that way about him. Like, you'll be on his side from jump. And it's got her, which is the main girl in Queen of Tears, which I haven't seen yet, but I'm so excited for. It's blowing up all over. It's blowing up all over Netflix, and Korea is like one of the best K-dramas that's come out in years. Queen of Tears. So I haven't checked it out yet, so I can't recommend it, but I will soon. It's the next one on my list. I think they just are putting out the last few episodes this weekend, so I'm excited. But it's got her, who I know from Descendants of the Sun, and that's where I got a crush on her, because if you see Descendants of the Sun, you're like, whoa, this girl is more attractive than the lead, and the lead is stunning, so that should tell you. She's also in My Liberation Notes, which I recommend too, but I can't put it on this list because it's too niche. But this one is like, it's funny because it's a romance, but it's a take on like kind of a video mockumentary or documentary kind of thing in an interesting way. It's really cool. It's really well made. It's like half of it shot through a series of like video questions, which I know doesn't make sense, but a lot of it is like, I'm trying to think of something that it's equivalent to, but essentially at the beginning of the episode, they'll set up a few different shots of like different of our, like characters involved in our story, and hit them with a question, like a theme, like what does love mean to you, and like they'll each answer it, and it'll segue into the episode, and like they'll flash back to these all the time, like they'll call back to the answers. So essentially the plot of this one is this guy and this girl meet, I want to say Jeju Island. They meet essentially like a beautiful island, you know, where there's surfing, there's surf shacks, there's fish shacks, there's just beaches everywhere. A real vibe, right? I can't remember, I think he like vacations there, or like he has friends there, and she's just there for vacation. They meet, they fall in love, they have this whirlwind, just romantic, couple of weeks. I don't know how long it was. It's just like, this is, I think, all in the first episode too, so this isn't spoiling. But like, they have this whirlwind romance where, he feels like she's the perfect woman for him. Like, they're just in sync to a T. They're just, just living their best life on a beach, right? Who doesn't want to see that? But the problem is, the girl was essentially lying about who she was the entire time. She had just gone through, like, I can't remember if it was a breakup. She had just gone through something at work, like she got fired or like quit. She was like just struggling mentally. She just had a break, right? She was just like, I don't want to be who I am anymore. Let me go to this island where no one knows me and just be somebody else for a couple weeks, right? She didn't intend on meeting anybody. She just wanted to be someone else, which there's something so like relatable in that. She just wanted to disappear somewhere where no one knew her, and she just wanted to be a completely different person for that time. And she does that. But that's when she meets him. And he thinks this is her. But it's not really her, right? I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's like... So, that's all first episode stuff. And it's beautiful, and it's like, it makes you want to go to the beach. But then the rest of that, the entire show is essentially him. So she leaves. This isn't a spoiler either, but she leaves abruptly, and he has to deal with the fact that she's gone. And then eventually he, like, over a course of time, they figure out things about each other, and it's like... But the cool thing about this one is it's shot, like I said, in a video, like, mockumentary kind of fashion. Like, it's just so interesting, and I can't really explain it to a T. You just have to watch it, and if you like it, if you like that style, it's such a good version of this. Such a good version. And I remember when I first watched it, I was like, oh, this isn't like anything I've seen in a long time. Like, it's just so unique. That's why it's on here. It's funny and unique. It's like, if you don't want that standard, like, the trope, you want something that's got a little, different storytelling in it, I'd say Love Struck in the City is for you. The acting is phenomenal. The setting is phenomenal. Like, the beach scenes will make you want to be on that beach, like, watching fireworks with them. You want to find your person and be in that, like, that island with them. That's how, like, beautiful it is. Like, look at the cover. Like, even just that just is such a vibe. That's kind of the aesthetic. But this one, it's like through the storytelling and like the way they do it, and also it's humor. Like, this one is really, really, really funny. Like, they play with kind of the fourth wall thing, where it's like, the writing is really good. It's like, at some points you don't know how much the characters know and how much they don't. It's just so interesting, and it's just, you will love these two. Like, this one, if you want funny, if you want unique, watch Love Struck in the City. It's really good. All right, and that brings us to our last recommended watch for beginners. And this one actually is a tie. This one is a tie. Because these two are almost identical in the mood and the feel of it. So I couldn't choose one or the other. I had to choose. I ended up choosing both. But so this one is when you want young love, lighthearted. Like this one, we all like a good like high school / college story, right? That's a very specific mood. And this one is lighthearted. There's nothing crazy about it. There's no zombies at an outbreak. There's no like killing. There's nothing like that. It's just when you want like a slice of life from like a high school to like college, you want to go flashback, right? And sometimes it is nice, like even though I'm a grown man, sometimes it is nice to like watch something that like, you're seeing the struggles that maybe you went through as a kid or like a teenager. You're seeing people deal with bullies in high school. You're seeing people deal with, struggling growing up or struggling deciding on a career path, things like that, where it's like, yeah, I'm already past that, but it's nice to see stories about it like from time to time. So that's why I kind of chose this one. So wherever you're at in the age group, like maybe you're their age and this is exactly what you're going through, or maybe you're older and you're like, it's just nice to look back and kind of see how people handle different situations like that. But yeah, so the first one is Weightlifting Fairy Kim Bok-jo, and that's this one on the left. This one my brother actually recommended to me. My brother Nick, he loved this one and he said, "Yo, check this one out." And I put it off for so long, and then I finally watched it, and it is really good. It is really funny. It's about this. She's a college athlete. She's a weightlifter. She's really strong, but she's also just nerdy and dorky and like just funny. She's just weird. She's got a weird humor, like delivery. So it essentially follows her during her course of like college, and maybe even a little bit out of college, where she's a weightlifting, athlete. So even that is cool in itself, where you get to see, kind of Korea's system of like athletes and like collegiate athletes and what that looks like. I don't know how true or accurate it is, but like it's still a cool story to see. But it essentially follows her through her career, and she meets a guy who actually, I think these two are the same. Honestly, I think it's the same guy in both shows, which is wild because they're so similar. But essentially, he meets her maybe day one, and it's kind of follows them kind of maybe liking each other. I don't want to spoil anything. And it's got the two friends who are just hilarious. It's like by the end of this one, you will be like, swag, Kim Bok-jo swag. You'll just be enamored with their friendship. Like she's got a really good friend circle. It's her and two other girls, and they're like kind of like in the weightlifting class with her. And you get to see their relationships and their humor, and it's so good. Like I'm telling you, swag. But then you get to see kind of how they are treated by like fellow athletes, fellow females, fellow students. You get to kind of see how they're looked upon, and like sometimes it raises like questions about what's viewed as attractive in Korea and what's not, and what's like too masculine. It's like all these cool things to see like as an outsider, like because like a lot of these things are still like are pretty prevalent in America too, where it's like it's just kind of cool to see a different country's take on it. But the main thing about this one is just the quirkiness of it. Weightlifting Fairy Kim Bok-jo is just so quirky. Like the main character is so lovable. She's just like just so weird. Just so her humor, her timing is just so interesting. Like that you will love it. if you just want some quirky lead who carries the whole thing. I mean, her acting is top notch, but it's just like, it's just so funny and it's lighthearted. Like, you will finish this one and parts of it will stick with you, but like for the most part, it's just a fun one watch where you're just like, you're just no stress, no thought. You just get to laugh for, an hour for 16 episodes. Um, and then that brings us to the one that's pretty much identical in vibe and content, is 2521. I think this one came out in maybe 2016, 17, maybe later. This one is 2019, 2020, something like that, maybe later. But this one is essentially very, very similar story, except the lead actress is less quirky. She plays a fencer, a collegiate fencer, who is trying to rise up the ranks and like, become a world famous fencer and like compete at the Olympics. And she ends up meeting this guy who like kind of it's cool. They develop a friendship, but then also kind of like a relationship, and it's kind of an interesting dynamic because it's definitely different than these two. Like these two over here, like the one thing about Weightlifting Fairy is like that sticks with me about the relationship is like this dude is so understanding in a good way. Like he gets it. Like he's one where like, he doesn't want to get in the way of her dreams. Like he does everything he can to help her pursue her dreams. Like very rarely does he like impede on her like future, which is awesome. Him, it's not quite as much. Still somewhat, but like he doesn't do it to the extent that he does it. Which is funny because they're the same actor, just different roles. I think, if my memory serves. That picture's too tiny, I can't tell. But anyways, this one is really good. It's a little more, a slight bit more serious than this one, even though they're very, very similar in their vibe. The thing I love about this one is the friendships. Like the group that they have in this one is so cute and so cool. Like it's just so nice to see, and there's so many like aesthetic like moments in this one in 2521 where you're just like, I want to be there. I want to be in that group of friends. Like there's a part of the episode where they in the series where they dress up in like 90s clothing and they go like to the beach and have a beach day and take Polaroids, and it's like something about the way they're playing on the beach and just sitting, chilling out, like hanging out. It's just a whole mood. It's like you want that for yourself. You wanted to be that kid with that group of friends at the beach. Like that's what I'm saying. Where it's like some days you just wish you could, or you kind of like to look back and see high school or college in a different light. Like that's what I mean. It's like you watch that and you're like, man, that's awesome. But also, I wish I would have had at least a little bit of that. But now you do when you get to watch it. And 2521, I don't want to spoil anything. I wouldn't look up anything before you watch it just because that's all I can say. That's all I can say. I want to say more, but that's all. But the main actress is really, really, really good. She's just a stellar actress. Like she's in so many different things, and it's wild to me that she can play a college kid. But like she's in some really heavy stuff. Like she's a really good actress. And there's also like her main nemesis in the show. That's a cool dynamic too. It's like in Weightlifting Fairy, there's not really a nemesis. In this one, she has like a fencer who's like she idolizes from the time she got into fencing. But like that idol soon becomes her rival. And then it's like, that's cool. And then eventually they like, I don't want to spoil it, but they train a lot together, and it's like, whoa. Never meet your idols, folks. Never meet your idols. But it's just such a nice, like once again, a good one-time watcher. Like the rest of them, On this list, definitely probably rewatchable. Crash Landing on You for sure. Something in the Rain, very for sure. Hotel Del Luna, always in Halloween time. Love Struck on You, yeah, that's just so interesting and unique. You gotta watch it again. But these two in particular, probably a one-time watch. But like you'll have so much fun when you watch them. Like I remember when I was watching 2521. There's one day, the day I started it, I got off of work. It was like a Wednesday, right? A weird day to start a K drama. I know. But I got off of work. I ordered a Papa John's pizza, half pepperoni, half cheese. You know, it was in the middle of summertime, so it was still light outside. So I got home, took a quick shower, you know, got my plate of pizza, got my Pepsi, had my dog with me, put on, I think I laid in bed, so I had my computer open. I put on 2521 with my pizza in the sunlight, golden sunlight, you know, my dog, the air conditioner going. It was like a whole entire just core memory for me. Like, it was the perfect thing. I had 16 episodes of a show like to watch. I had delicious pizza. It was just one of those things where I still remember that distinctly. So like you could have that same mood. You could have that same or like similar. It's just, you know, it's one of the good ones. It's definitely a good one watch. And while you're watching it, you can have so much like good moods with it. So yeah, that's the last one on the list for today. It's the tie between Weightlifting Fairy and 2521. And between these two, that's the thing. I cannot choose. They're so similar. If I had to choose right at this moment, it'd probably be Weightlifting Fairy. Only because it's so quirky. Like it stands out as like the main actress in that is just so interesting. She has her own language of like humor. It's just, this one is a little more standard, 2521, but it's still really good. But yeah, the one that stands out more is Weightlifting Fairy. So if you have to choose between these two, I would say that one. But either one, you're not going to go wrong. Either one, it's, if you want to see a college story about an athlete and kind of get that dynamic, this one, these two. So yeah, that is the list of top 5 K dramas I recommend for beginners. But yeah, overall, best overall is Crash Landing on You. This one, like I said, this one is just, it's just stellar. It hits all the right parts. And it does everything very well. It's like, it's one of the, like the rare K dramas where it hits everything really well, or at least above average, you know. It does the drama well. It does the romance super well. The cinematography, very cool. The special effects, really good. The pacing, really good. And the side characters, very good. And the humor, amazing. It's like it hits all these like things that like a lot of other ones maybe have average moments. This one, if you need one K drama to watch, one K drama to recommend, it's this one. Crash Landing on You. Like I said, it's on Netflix in USA. It is, I don't want to say a must watch, but there's a reason it's the first one out of my mouth when anybody asks me, hey, what K drama should I watch? I'm new to K dramas. Which one should I check out? It's always Crash Landing on You. Always. So yeah, that is the list for today. I liked making it. I love. Honestly, K dramas. I don't know if you can tell by like the excitement in my voice, but KDrama Thursdays have quickly become like my favorite ones. And like I spend a little extra time like making these things because it's so fun to me. It's so like and so enjoyable. Like, and eventually once we get like popping enough where, you know, maybe we have like some viewers or followers in the chat who like K dramas, like hopefully we get to a point where we can just like kind of gab about them all and you know, talk about them in more in depth, because I know there's plenty of people out here who've seen this, but like the hope is one of these days we'll have, you know, we can just go in depth into some of these K dramas, because I got ideas and thoughts about these for days, but like I don't wanna get into it too heavy until we get the right group of K drama enthusiasts, I guess. But so yeah, but like this is fun to me. Like it's fun to like, because even when I'm making this, I'm like, it takes me back to like when I was watching them and when I was like, you know, what I was thinking or what the plot, even like rereading the plot line of a lot of them, I'm like, oh yeah, that did happen. Oh, that was cute. Oh, that broke my heart. Those things where it's like I connect heavily with Korean dramas, so then it's like I can almost re-feel those emotions that I felt. Um, so yeah, that's the top 5 K dramas for beginners. So we'll go ahead and close that. What's this? Oh yeah. You know what? Let's leave this guy up for a little bit. I like him. He's chill. Um, this will be the thumbnail right there. I need glasses. I need some sunglasses. But yeah, that's KDrama Thursday. I think I don't know. I'll be thinking about. I haven't thought about what next week will be. What next K drama will be about. I don't know. Because we already did top male celebrity crushes. We already did top female celebrity crushes. And now we just did, you know, top 5 K dramas for beginners. I could do my top 5 of all time, like the top 5 that I just love. Yeah, let's do that. Let's probably do that. Top 5 K dramas to me. And spoiler alert, I've already told you what my number 1 is, but it's alright. It's alright. I can go in a little bit more in depth and spend a little more time talking about my favorite, Sun Yee-jin. She's so cool. It's funny. I was literally watching a YouTuber. His name's like Dan. He's like a Korean YouTuber who like gives advice to like travelers to Korea, and he essentially was like, "Yeah, don't come to Korea expecting everyone to look like Sun Yee-jin." And even though I knew this in the back of my mind, like I knew that, like obviously, it still broke my heart to hear. Cause she's so pretty. Like when she smiles, like I said, I'm rewatching Crash Landing on You right now, and when she smiles, she literally looks like an emoji, like in the best possible way. Like she's just so cute, and I don't know if that's weird because I think she's like in her 40s and like that's older than me, but she's just so cute. Like, and honestly, her acting is amazing. Like she's just, there's a reason she's one of the most popular actresses in the country. Like she's so good. Like if you ever see 39 on Netflix, it'll ball you. You will ball your eyes out. It's the saddest show I've ever seen in my life. Sadder than Opie and Sons of Anarchy, and that was sad. But like 39, saddest show I've ever seen, and she's in it, and she's a main reason why it's sad. Well, not the main, but like she's a big reason. Um, but yeah, like I don't know what I would do if I saw her in real life. I'd probably like, well, no, I'd be normal probably, but I'd just be like, whoa, she's real pretty. Um, but I will never see her in real life. I've come to grips with that. I know that just because I'll be in Korea doesn't mean I'm gonna see Sun Yee-jin. I know that. I've accepted that. You know, it's like you come to America and you just like assume you're gonna see Robert Downey Jr. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Kind of wish it would happen, but it's not gonna happen. Can't decide yet if I'm gonna shave for a career or not. Like, part of me wants to grow out the beard a little bit, but honestly, I'll probably just shave. We'll see. We'll see. Um, I'm getting so excited for my trip. I'm getting so excited. I'm pumped. I can't wait. I'm even getting excited for Japan and Tokyo. Like, cause like I said, Japan was like the side trip essentially, like the side chick of this trip. Japan was the side chick of this trip. South Korea was the main star. Like, South Korea is the one I've wanted to go for about 15 years now. In Japan, like I said, I've always wanted to see, but it's never been like I have to see it. Even now, I'm just like, okay, I'll go because I'll be around Asia, but I'm even now getting excited to be in Japan and to like hear the language and see the sights and, or not the sights, but like just see it, just be there. Big part of it is just like, I want to be like, experience it and see what it's like, because I've heard so many, like a lot of my friends have gone and have loved it, and so many people, like so many streamers I've seen go and say it's like one of the best places they've ever been, and it's like, I want to see it with my own eyes, and like I want to experience Japan at least once in my life. I think I would regret it if I lived my entire life and never got to see Tokyo. The only thing I am worried about, though, is because I'm going to Tokyo, I'm worried that I won't go back for a while. Because, like, had I not done Tokyo on this trip, I would have made a completely different trip to do, like, in the future, I would have done, like, Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, Nara, Hiroshima, and then probably, like, flown out and done, like, Sapporo. So I would have made like an entire like tour of Japan just to check it out. You can come up. No, not my Pop-Tart. Not my Pop-Tart. That's my Pop-Tart. But yeah, I would have made a completely different trip to Japan to do like an entire just tour, because there's so many cities I want to see in Japan. Like, I still would love to go, and not just Tokyo exclusively. But my fear is that because I'm going to be in Japan and I'm going to be able to be like, okay, I've already been there, then that's going to like, make me not go back. Because like the same thing when I was in France. It's like when I went to Paris, like I fell in love with like French culture and French cities. So much so that I like thought I would live there. But I want to do a tour around France, right? Bordeaux and Nice, and I can't think of French towns at the moment, but I wanted to do a tour around all the cities in France. But like, because I've already been to France, because I've been to Paris, like it has moved down on the list just because like it's part of me, part of like that human nature is like, oh, I've seen that already. Even though I haven't seen these towns, I've been to that country. Like, I want to go to a new country, right? So that's exactly the thing I'm worried about Japan, and I can almost guarantee it'll happen because I know myself. But like, I can almost guarantee you I will spend, my time in Tokyo, and then like it will be years before I plan another trip to Tokyo or plan another trip to Japan. Because after that, I'm gonna want to see, Peru or Chile or Argentina or New Zealand or Prague or Istanbul or, Morocco, Kenya, Iraq, those kind of Vietnam, like those places are like moving up. They'll take the spots. They'll kind of fill in, you know. And like, so I'm pretty sure Japan, like that tour of Japan won't happen for a while, if ever, which kind of makes me sad. But it's also like, instead of like the hope of seeing Japan in 10 years, maybe now at least I get to see it like for real, for real. Like it's like gonna happen. So that's pretty cool. So I take the concrete like visit over like the daydreaming any day. Um, but but then one thing I also am very very excited and curious about is like what place will take the place of South Korea once I visit. Like that's something I'm very very intrigued by. Like I don't know what it'll be because it's like one of those things. South Korea has been the one spot, probably more so than most any other place I've ever like thought of to go. Like even during my trips to Europe, like I've wanted to see those, yes, but like I've never craved to be in a country like I've craved to be in South Korea. Like from food to culture to like media to music, it's like to any of that stuff. Korea, like South Korea, has always been like number one on my list, at least since pretty much my college days, right? So this is 15 years, 10 years. So it's like I'm very, very curious to see like what happens when I actually get to see it with my own eyes. Like what happens to my psyche or like my drive once I see the place I've been dreaming about for years, right? And it'll be fun because you guys can come with me. Like you can see, like you'll be able to. We'll have this same conversation in a month after my trip, 2 months, and you know we'll be able to like process it and be like, okay, maybe I will love it so much I want to move there, and I'll start transitioning my life to like, you know, this will be all like time spent before Korea, and then everything else will just be like me trying to navigate moving there. Or more realistically, what'll happen is I'll love it. I'll love the trip. I'll love it so much. Maybe it'll be like it could either be just a destination I want to go like again, maybe every few years, maybe every year, or it could be one of those things where it's like same thing as France, where it's like, all right, I've been there, I've seen it, I've explored it, but now, another place starts moving up, starts taking up the mantle of number one. But honestly, I think what's more likely is that number two option is where I'm gonna love it so much, and I'm gonna like just be around the language and the culture so much that like I'm just gonna want to come back every couple years. Is what's my guess. Because I already want to go with my family. Because my family, my brothers and sisters, love like at least Korean food, and some forms of Korean media. Like my sister loves my younger sister Sam. She loves Korean dramas just like me, and she loves Korean music, like specifically Korean R&B. So I would love to explore Korea with her, and I would love to explore it with my whole family because like I feel like we would all love it in just different ways. And it's the one spot I can think of in the entire world that like I think we would all have fun and all actually want to be. Um, so yeah, I would not be surprised if like I end up going there and loving it and be like, okay, guys, every couple years I want to take a trip to Korea. Like it's just one of those. I've always wanted to have one of those destinations. Like it's like you travel to one time and then you're like, oh, I need to do that more than once in my life. Like I have a buddy of mine who he fell in love with the Florida Keys. Like he just went one time with I think his ex-wife. Something happened when he was like in his 20s where he just went to the Florida Keys, and like he goes every year. Like he goes every winter to the Florida Keys for like a week vacation. Like that's his whole thing now. He plans it just because he went one time and loved it. Like, that's so cool to me, and it's something that I want. Like, it's something like, something I also would love to be is like a local, like a you got like at a bar or like a restaurant. You have your local. You have like somebody who comes there all the time, knows all the people. You know, is on first name basis with the bartender or the restaurateur or whoever. That's so cool to me, is to have like a local, like a spot that you keep coming back to and like you just know so well. Like, that's I've always wanted a spot like that, and like maybe that'll be Korea for me. Maybe that'll be the spot I need to go to every year or every few years, more realistically. You know, and I'm also just really excited to just like have a mental image of what Seoul is or Korea is. Like, you know, it's like that's one of my favorite things about traveling is like before you travel there, you do not know realistically what it's like. Like, you can kind of like through pictures and things, you can kind of get a decent sense of like the vibe or the mood of things, but like you can't really tell how you'll feel when you be there, right? You can't really get a good gauge of like what reality is because you've just never been there in life. It's just one of those things where like I thought I would love New York City when I went because everything just seemed cool, and I always saw pictures of like New York in Christmas time, New York in autumn. It just seemed like Manhattan would be like exactly what I would love. But like when I went, it was just way too massive. Like parts of it were really cool. Like the trip was cool, but like I would never want to live there. Like I couldn't even be there for more than a week. I was just like, there's just too much building. Like there's just too much of building there. Um, and same thing with Paris. It's like my entire existence, I thought like Paris would be someplace I would love to live. But like I went and I loved it. Like Paris is actually my favorite place on earth so far. Like it's so beautiful, it's so romantic, it's so charming. Like I don't know anybody who could go to Paris and like not at least and like love it. Or at the very least like not like it. Like Paris is just so dang charming. But when I was there, like I realized like, oh, that vibe isn't there for me for like moving here, like living here. Like it's a great place to visit and I want to go back. But it's just based on the pictures and everything I'd seen before, I thought this would be a place I would love to live. But like I went and I'm like, I'd love to visit, but I don't think I could live here. So yeah, I'll be excited to see what that does to Seoul for me. If like maybe, because although to be honest, I don't have any like real big want to live there. Like that's never been my thing. I've always just viewed it as a place I want to visit. You know, I don't want to be in like a big city, and I also don't want to be, half a day's flight away from my family at all times. But if I meet Sun Yee Jin there, I mean, um, but yeah, so it'll be fun to have you guys there too. I'm thinking I'll probably end up streaming, just on my phone, like nothing crazy. So don't expect any high quality. Don't expect any good mics. Um, it'll just be probably IRL walking through. Maybe I'll stream at the beach or stream it, while I'm just chilling. I don't know, but it'll be fun for you guys to see kind of like this place I've been talking about for so long. Like what it's actually like and what my experiences actually is like, the reality of the trip and not just my daydream of the trip. Also, it's my dog's 5th birthday today. He just turned 26. No, today's 26. He just turned 5. So everyone, if you would, just send some love to my little boy Nashville. He's 5 today. Happy birthday, Nashville. Happy birthday, Nashville. He's just looking at me like he wants to go to sleep. You want to come back here? You can come back here. I'll move the. Well, there we go. Yeah, this little guy is 5 today. Happy birthday, Nashville. I'll move this so you can put your head on it. But yeah, I am, like I said, I'm getting more excited by the day for my trip. But I don't know. Something about Japan just kind of not intimidates me, but like it's just so big. Like the scale of it is just so massive. It's like, I don't know. There are just so many things to do. Like I feel like I'm not one to get overwhelmed easily. I just feel with a place that big, it's like hard to manage like anything. You know, it's hard to plan for, honestly, because it's like with Seoul, it's like even then it's massive. Don't get me wrong, it's huge, but it's like still I'm able to like kind of section off little neighborhoods where I'm like, okay, this is kind of what I want to do. You know, this is what I want to do over here. This is what I want to do. Tokyo is so big, I can't even like wrap my head around like even in the areas like Shinjuku or Shibuya. Like it's still just so clustered to me that I'm just like one of those things. Like you ever have a city or like a place that just like your brain just cannot figure out, like for the life of you, until you get there. Like on a map, my brain can't register Tokyo at all. It just doesn't make sense. Like Seoul, a big part of it for me is like, if you have a body of like, if you have a river running through your town or your city, beautiful. I need that natural landscape, right? I'm a surveyor. I'm an outdoorsman. I need to have like a creek or a river running through your city, and then I can navigate. If I can tell you I'm north of the river, but like Tokyo doesn't have that, I don't think. So it's like, that's not good. That's not good. Strike one, Tokyo. Strike one. But it's one of those things I'm sure I'll at least be able to get a grasp on while I'm on the ground. But I never like to do that. I never like to like not have my bearings in a place. I remember really the only time that happened for me was in Chicago. And I just like, the first time I went to Chicago by myself, and I was like, I couldn't figure anything out. I was like, and they even had a river there too, and I was like, I still couldn't get it. The water's on the east? What? The water's to the right? It threw me off. I couldn't figure it out. And I didn't like it for a little bit. But there's comfort in knowing that I figured it out eventually, and it quickly became one of my favorite places. So maybe that'll be Japan. But also, I am not a big Japanese food, like at least what I've had in the States. Like I'm not the biggest ramen fan. It's like all the dishes I've seen, like, although yakitori, is it yakitori? That is the grilled chicken, whatever the grilled chicken skewers, that looks pretty fire. I do want to try that. But everything else, like, you know, that one that's like cabbage and like drizzled stuff where they like put it on the flat top, that doesn't look that good to me. But I've heard people rave about Japanese food, like while you're in Japan, like everything you eat is good. So like, also I'm not like huge into like sushi. Like I like sushi, but like, give me some braised short ribs, some grilled short ribs, some grilled Korean short ribs. That's my speed. That would be probably top 5 foods for me, is some Korean short ribs. Come on. But yeah, so I'm just like, there's so many things about Japan, and I'm like, they like have me. Not, I don't want to say wary because I'm like excited to go. It's just like that I just quite can't quite like fully embrace yet. But it's also one of those things that like, I've been watching Korean dramas since I was like 20 or 19, maybe even younger, maybe 16. I don't remember, but like, so I've already been like familiar with at least what's portrayed in Korean culture as like, or Korean media as like Korean culture. So like, I've already like seen countless backdrops of Seoul, like the city skyline, the river, the bridges, the different spots along, you know, in Seoul, and even like the islands, even Busan. Like I've seen this in so many different shows or movies I've seen, where it's like it feels familiar, it feels comfortable. You know, it feels approachable. Like it feels like I can like just kind of arrive and kind of sink in. Whereas like Japan just feels so. I don't have that, right. I don't have like, I think the most recent thing I saw was Alice in Borderland, and it's like that's not a good. If you want like a show to make you want to go to Tokyo, that is not the one to watch. And if you haven't seen it, yeah, just know that. Um, and then like animes, but like animes don't. I feel like I don't know if they portray the exact Tokyo. I don't think so. I don't. I think they take a few liberties. That's what I'm saying. Um. So yeah, but if anybody has any tips or tricks or advice, especially for Japan, especially on the vein of like kind of getting a little more comfortable in the city. I know it's a massive, massive, massive city. I know that. Like I'm fine in massive cities. That's not the issue. I love subways. I love taking trains and figuring out subway systems. That comes naturally to me. But it's more like kind of taking a good bite out of a city. Like because there's no way you're gonna see even a percent of a city of that scale. But it's just like, how do you figure out what percent you want to chew out, right? That's where I'm at. Like it's just so big. It's like I almost can't even wrap my teeth around a spot. Um, so what I'm guessing what'll happen, because I know myself, is like I'll get to the airport, I'll take a train to my where I'm staying, put everything down, take a moment to breathe, get my bearings, and then I'll just kind of like wander. I'll just walk out the front door, pick a direction, just wander, and just see what I see, and that'll be what I do. Honestly, that would be my recommendation for anyone traveling. Is like, just go and wander. As long as you're safe about it, be smart, but like just wander and figure out. Because a lot of times what will happen that first day, I'll wander and I'll see like an area that's like, that's interesting, and I'll make a note of it. And then the next day I'll come back and I'll like check it out, and it's be like really cool. And then I'll lead me to somewhere else. And then maybe I'll go like take a train to like. So I'm thinking that Japan will be a lot of more of like point of reference kind of things where like I can figure it out once I'm there. Once I'm on the ground, I'll be able to, navigate and have some fun. But I'm always down for any food recommendations. If you have any food spots, let me know, because that's the entire reason I travel is for the food. But I think we're probably gonna end up wrapping it up for the night, because it's 1:30 here. So yeah, that was the K-drama night. I had a lot of fun. Hopefully you did too. Like I said, those are my beginning K-dramas to watch Oh, he knows this. He knows he can tell by the tone of my voice that something's happening, that we're about to end. Other way, buddy. Other way. Other way. Go the other way. You got room. Go on. Happy birthday, man. Meet the birthday boy. I like when dogs just like don't care about your presence. They just don't care that they're inconveniencing you, or like they're putting their full body weight on you. They just do it because they know that that's what you do. They just do it because they know you're supporting them. Like that they got you, like you've got their back, so they do it. They don't know anything different. I love that. Like a lot of times my dog will just like walk all over my body. Like, and he's 80 pounds. It's like he just walks like he's a puppy. But it's like that's what he's always done. He just doesn't care about my like, I'm just here. I've always been here for him, so it's like I'm just there. I'm like a couch. I'm like a pillow for him, and I love that. But yeah, so let's see. K-drama night was fun. Next week we'll do my top 5 K-dramas of all time, and it'll probably end up being like top 7 or top 10 because I can't choose. Like even making that list today, I was going through some and I was like, dang, that's a great one. Oh, that's a great one. Oh, I love that one. Oh. And that one's going to be completely biased. Completely just, that's how favorites work. It's like, it's just completely my choice or like my preference. So, you don't have to agree with any of them or all of them. You just, it's kind of not the point. It's just fun to see other people's opinions. So yeah, that'll be fun to join. If you've watched any, feel free to drop any comments or anything like that. Also, on my main page, my about page, there's a drop box for which K-drama I should watch next. So feel free to hit that up and recommend me any K-dramas that you think I might like. And I'm open to any of them, all of them. Like I said before, I have like 30 K-drama titles that I'm like I have a list of the ones I need to watch, and there's like 30 deep. And I add to them like every day. But yeah, tomorrow the jury's still out. Tomorrow we might play some Alan Wake, or we might just yap. It depends on how I'm feeling. It depends on how I feel after the gym. If there's the grunting guys there, if I have stories, I might just yap and close the week out on a nice little yap session. But if nothing really happens and feel like having a chill game night, we might just do some Alan Wake. I think we've got 2 chapters left in Alan Wake, so maybe 2 more nights of Alan Wake, and those are always fun because it's just like like I said, I just turn my brain off, just don't think about anything but killing zombies or like darkness creatures. So yeah. But hopefully everyone's having a great Thursday evening, Friday morning. Send some birthday love to my pup, Nashville, if you ever get the chance. Send some good vibes. I'm going to give him a good old dinner tomorrow night for his B-day. But, yeah. Check out some of these K-dramas. If any of these, hopefully one or more of these, like, piqued your interest a little bit. Definitely check them out if you're interested. And if you've just never had the chance or never had, like, the, that initial, like, urge to jump in onto one. I know they're daunting. I know 16 episodes with hour-long episodes. I know it's daunting. I know the subtitles, it can be a little, but trust me when I say that, like, once you get into one that like, you really love, ain't nothing much like it. Like the story, the way the stories are told in a lot of them, the cinematography, just the subtlety and the romance is like, it does in a way a lot of American content does not. The things they choose to focus on. It's like one of those things. Is like they're known for like not having first kisses for like the first 10 episodes, which is like 10 hours of a show. So it's like the first 10 hours of the show, you're not getting a kiss in a romance. Like America, that don't happen. Like a lot of American TV shows, it opens up with a sex scene. So it's like just keep that in mind. But like I said, if any of these like caught your interest at all, try it, try it, try it, try it. It's honestly, it's almost like all I watch now. And I don't regret it for a second. I love each one I watch. I love a lot of the ones I watch. They just make you feel. They just make you feel things. They know what they're doing. But so yeah, check any of those out if any of them caught your eye. And then yeah, tomorrow, like I said, tomorrow will be either Yapping or Alan Wake, depending on kind of the mood and the vibe and my energy level. But since everything is pretty much taken care of for my trip, like all I gotta do is show up now, then I can kind of, pull a few longer streams and kind of, my attention's not like pulled fully toward my trip, so we can still have some fun and enjoy. But yeah, thanks for everyone who came through today. Like I always say, even just your kind words after my streams or anything like that. I mean, I appreciate y'all so much. I appreciate anybody coming through, showing love. We're gonna keep growing this thing, keep having fun, keep yapping, and keep just making senseless jokes. Talking about lasagna for 6 hours. Who knows? But yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. So hopefully everyone has cozy evenings. Drink some eggnog. Watch some Gilmore Girls. Have fun. All right. See you guys.